Delivery drivers. Which late-night order still gives you the creeps? People love to say delivering food is one of the most dangerous jobs in America, and it cuts both ways. I'd heard the horror stories. Drivers lured to empty houses by someone who planned the whole thing, drivers stabbed, drivers shot, and none of it put me off. It paid decent money for a college student, and I got to do what I enjoy, driving around, blasting music, feeding my nicotine habit on the clock. My area was mostly a wealthier business district where almost nothing happens, so I never really weighed the danger. 6 months in, nothing had gone wrong, until the shift that traumatized me and forced this company to rewrite its policies. It started as a normal night, a delivery to the next city over. The apartment complexes on that road had a numbering system that made sense to nobody, and I couldn't find the unit. A nice guy was out walking his little dog, so I asked if this was 22nd Street. He turned out to be the chatty type, and before I could ask which way to go, he was firing off his own questions, none of which bothered me at the time. He'd noticed I was carrying food and got oddly excited. Did I have a menu? How late did we deliver? Was I the only driver working that Sunday night? I answered quick, and he walked his dog up to the road to point me in the right direction. Leaving, I told him he was welcome to call for a delivery anytime, since he'd said he was starving. As the night wound down, I was praying nothing came in after 9:15. Deliveries cut off at 9:30, but anything before that meant I was stuck until 10. Of course, an order dropped at 9:20, and I pulled out at 9:40. I'm on autopilot following the GPS when I recognize the road, the same one from earlier, and it hits me that this has to be the guy who helped me. I knock. There's faint music inside that gets louder after I knock. He opens up, both of us smiling. "Guess cooking wasn't for you tonight," I say. He says something like, "Cooking's a waste of my time. Besides, I think raw is the most honest way to eat." Odd guy, I think. He insists I bring the bags into his kitchen. I step in, and he tells me to take off my shoes. That's when it started bothering me. This is an in-and-out job. No one had ever had me take my shoes off before. As I slip them off, my eyes land on a runner by the shoe rack that looks like it's made of black feathers. And the song playing is scarily familiar. I realized later it was "A Wonderful Guy" off Galaxy News Radio in Fallout 3. On the counter, next to the bags, is an actual stuffed crow, arranged like a nativity scene. He catches me staring. "Did you know when a crow dies, 100 of them gather for a kind of ceremony? That's how they learn what to fear, and they avoid the place afterward." I brush it off with an "interesting," while he signs. As I'm putting my shoes back on, he says, "One last thing. If I told you someone was killed in this house, would you hesitate to come back? And if I told you I did it, would you ever come to this address again?" I panicked, got out of there, and sped back to the shop with my head spinning. 5 months on, it still hangs over me. Looking back, he wanted to know if I was the only driver working, and once he had our cutoff time, he waited until the last minute to make sure he'd be my final delivery. I still wonder what that man is doing. Every time I work. All right, here we go. This was 2016, and it still gets under my skin. Picture it. A Friday night in Edinburgh, and I'm practically skipping home because the best part of my whole week is waiting for me. Reruns of King of the Hill and an order of fish and chips. I top up the heating meter with 10 pounds, pull up a King of the Hill playlist on YouTube, and place my order. All set for another glorious Friday in... It was December, everything buried in snow, so I figured the food would take longer than usual. But hours went by and nothing came. No matter, I thought, I'll cancel it and boil some pasta. At 1:30 in the morning, someone knocks on my door, strange on its own, since I hadn't buzzed a soul into the building. I look through the peephole, and it's the delivery driver. I open up and he's apologizing over and over for how late the order is, saying he felt bad and wanted to check if I still wanted it. I took the food. I figured that was the end of it. It wasn't. Around 2 a.m. a text comes in. I really liked your sweatshirt. I write back, thanks, but who is this? He fires back, it's your delivery driver. I'm annoyed at the nerve of him, but also rattled because it was obvious I live alone, and he'd walked straight into my building without a single person letting him in. More messages came, stuff like, so how's your night going? I never answered. The frightening part was waking up at 3 a.m. to a string of missed calls with one message sitting in the middle of them. I'm outside your building, do you want to hang out? I was seriously shitting bricks, and I didn't get back to sleep until around 7. He never contacted me again, thank God. My sacred Friday ritual has changed since then, and so has the country I live in. But all the same, delivery driver, let's never meet again. So I work at a pizza place, usually inside, but sometimes I cover a delivery shift because the money's good. Our area is a mix. Cookie-cutter neighborhoods with bad tips, a couple apartment complexes with great tips, trailer parks that either tip great or not at all, and a bunch of rural roads. Not rural enough to see 100 stars at night, but rural enough that you couldn't hear your neighbor yell. About a week ago, I was covering a shift, feeling good, averaging about $5 a delivery when I see one more order. It's an address I've never seen, which is odd since we mostly get regulars, out on one of the more rural roads. I asked the kid who took the order about the special instructions on the ticket. He says, they said go around back. The front door doesn't work. Okay. That's not that unusual. Driving out, I start getting a bad feeling. I don't love walking around the back of some house out in the sticks. It'd be easy for somebody to order a pizza to an abandoned house and jump the driver. I figure I'll scope it out when I get there. Then I realize the address is near the end of the road, where it gets less populated the farther you go. Great. I'm creeping along and I see this house, abandoned looking, set back in the trees, no address on it. That better not be it, I think. I check the next house's number, and of course the abandoned one is the right house. I pull into the driveway and the bad vibes hit hard. I park at the very end, the rear of the car, out on the shoulder so anyone passing can see it. I call the shop and say, I'm at this sketchy house. If I don't call back in 4 or 5 minutes, call me. And if I don't answer, call the cops. While I'm on the phone, I really look at the place. It's not just run down, it's abandoned. The driveway is crumbling into gravel. No mailbox, no trash cans, no car. Grass not mowed in years. The roof and siding are falling apart. The only halfway decent thing is the supposedly broken front door. Every window is shut, blinds down, a few boarded over. I don't even see power lines running to it. It's dusk, not a single light on inside. Now I'm nervous for real. I'm 5'10", 180 pounds, took karate for 10 years, so I'm not helpless. I'm not worried about getting robbed. It's not my money. What scares me is getting jumped or killed. It's a safe area, but lately, some rough people have moved in from the city. There's been a spike in break-ins, and worse, a few stabbings. So it's nut up or shut up. I call the number from the order, and while it rings, I pull the pizza out and leave my car door open. A running car, half in the road at an abandoned house with the door open, looks suspicious, and maybe that makes someone stop. It rings twice, then an automated message says the number belongs to a free texting app. I think it was Haywire. We've had people use those for prank orders before. Huge red flag. My heart is pounding in my throat. Every part of me is telling me to bail, but I don't want a reputation as the flaky driver who chickens out and loses his shifts, so I stay put. I'm standing there with the pizza, not wanting to go around back, hoping the customer will just come get it. Then the blinds go up on the window by the front door, and this creepy guy is looking out, hat pulled low, big sunglasses. He's in a pitch black house, in the trees, at dusk. There's no reason for sunglasses. There's what looks like a big guy standing behind him. When he sees me looking, he mouths something and darts off toward that supposedly broken front door. That's when I noped out. I was 2 steps from the car. I jumped in, threw the pizza on the passenger seat, which I never do because I'm anal about keeping my car clean, ground the gears into reverse, and floored it backward onto the road without even checking for traffic. I look back. The screen door's open now, but the guy's just gone. They never called back to ask about their food, which pretty much confirmed it. People always call if their pizza is even 15 minutes late. My co-workers and I figured it was a robbery at the very least, so we blacklisted the address and ate their pizza. I doubt I'd have actually been killed. Robbed, maybe with a gun pulled, sure. But it's unnerving how easily I could have gotten into serious trouble just doing my job. Apparently it's a common way to rob pizza drivers, and I'm really glad we never met. At the time I was 24 and I had the whole lower floor of the house to myself. I used to bartend and manage a nightclub a few blocks away, getting home around 4 a.m. That night I'd finished a 12-hour shift, exhausted and hungry, so I ordered food, rolled a joint to have ready, and put on a movie. The doorbell rings, and since I'm alone and it's late, I wait for the photo in the app to confirm the food's at the door, so I don't have to make small talk. I'd kept contactless delivery on since COVID. A few minutes later, I see the photo of my food on the step and get up to grab it. My bedroom had 5 big windows with a full view of the path, the street, and the area right in front of my door. The driver is still out there, and now he's texting me to come out and get it. I tell him he left it in a perfect spot. Thanks. I'll be out shortly. I'm waiting for him to leave because I don't want to walk out in my pajamas after a whole night at work. He doesn't leave. He keeps texting me to come outside, and now I can hear him talking to another male voice, though I couldn't see who he was talking to from my window. In the photo, my food was right against the door. Now I watch him nudge it away, off to the side, around a little corner, so I'd have to step fully outside and around the corner to get it. I keep texting, it's in a perfect spot, I'll be out shortly. He starts banging on my front door, still talking to that other voice. My food is even further away now, and he won't stop pounding and telling me to come out. Finally, I tell him I set it to no contact because I have COVID, a lie, and I don't want to get anyone sick. Once I saw he'd read it, he put my food back by the door and walked out through the back parking lot, even though he'd come in from the front. Something about it felt so wrong. I waited about 15 minutes until I couldn't see or hear anyone, then opened the door and grabbed my food. The whole ordeal lasted about an hour. My food was stone cold, the joint was put away for another day, and my heart was racing the rest of the night. So, delivery man who wouldn't take the hint, and your friend, let's not meet. My younger sibling has a couple of medical conditions that need supplies, and our town had a pharmacy with a delivery service, so we got deliveries from them all the time. In middle school, my mom switched jobs, which meant I got home about 2 hours before everyone else, and was in the house by myself. A few weeks into the school year, right after I got home, a guy rang the doorbell and said he was from the pharmacy. He had the uniform shirt on and a small bag with their logo. I had already unlocked the deadbolt and the top lock when it hit me that he had sunglasses and a hat on and jeans under the uniform shirt when their drivers usually looked professional. I looked down at the street and there wasn't one of their delivery cars anywhere. Plus the bag was tiny and our deliveries were always a lot bigger. I told him to wait and called my mom to ask if we were expecting a small delivery. She said we weren't, and to tell him he had the wrong house. I went back and told him through the door he had the wrong house. He insisted it was the right one and he knew our last name. I asked who the medicine was for, and he didn't know. I said we'd just pick it up at the pharmacy, and he started getting angry, saying it didn't make sense that your parents are going to be mad at you if they don't get this delivery. I was getting scared now because he wasn't leaving. Right after he said that, my uncle, who lived nearby, came up our stairs to grab something. When the guy turned and saw him, he went down the steps, said "wrong house" to my uncle, jumped in his car, and left. When my mom got home, she called the pharmacy. They had no driver matching his description and no deliveries scheduled for us, and the manager was really disturbed because one of their workers had his work shirt stolen out of his gym locker a few weeks earlier. I refused to be home alone for months after that. It still creeps me out how close I was to opening that door, and that he knew our last name. This happened early last year, and it still messes me up if I think about it too much. Some backstory. I drive for Uber Eats as a side gig, and I'm a girl. Late night deliveries are rarely worth it, so I barely did them. But this night there was a bonus running. Hit 15 deliveries in a certain window and get an extra $75. When that's the deal, nights are great, no traffic, and I don't care where I'm picking up from. McDonald's, Schmickdonald's, bring on the bonus. I finished my last McDonald's run at 2:30 in the morning, cashed my bonus, and called it a night. This was downtown San Diego. Downtown has the fun restaurants and clubs at its core, but the farther out you go, the seedier it gets, and once you're past 16th Street, it gets really sketchy. Homeless camps, the works. I try to avoid it, but to get home and onto the freeway, I had to cut through it. One more thing. I drive a beat-up 2002 Ford Focus, windows crank by hand, so on deliveries I just keep both down. This night, of course, my windows were down like always. I meant to roll them up before 16th Street, but I didn't get that far. I turned down a side street toward the main drag, and up ahead there's a man in one of those orange construction vests standing at the curb. There's always some construction downtown, so I didn't think much of it. But as I get closer, he runs into the middle of the street, waving his arms for me to stop. I slow down, figuring he's going to reroute me. I brake to 10 miles an hour, then 5, trying to figure out what he wants. Then he jogs toward my car and stops directly in front of it, blocking me. Immediate unease. It's 3 a.m. on a dark street, and there's not a soul around except me and this guy. People talk about fight or flight. Turns out mine is freeze. Because it hit me about 5 seconds too late, this man is not a construction worker. Hard hat, vest, and the creepiest smile I've ever seen. Not a friendly smile, he holds it, staring right at me. Try it sometime, count to 5 while grinning at someone and you'll get it. I can tell now he's homeless, maybe in his 60s, with wild eyes, all teeth. The best way I can describe him is Twisty from American Horror Story. This guy looked insane. I should have thrown it in reverse, but my brain was panicking. I'm frozen, thinking, this is how I die. Then, like a ninja, he jumps onto the hood of my car and slams his fist down on it. He's crawling around on the hood on his hands and knees, not saying a word, just staring at me. That was the worst part. He never once broke eye contact, and he never stopped grinning. He never said a single word the whole time. I think it would have been less scary if he had. The thought of my open windows made me want to throw up, but looking away to crank them up felt scarier, as if any sudden movement would bring him through the window. The whole thing probably lasted 15 seconds and felt like days. Then I see headlights in my mirror, another car coming up behind me. He sees them too, and in an instant he jumps off and takes off running back toward it. I floored it and didn't look back until I was halfway home on the freeway. What got me afterward was how naive I'd been, slowing down purely because he had a uniform on. I still don't know why he did it. Just to scare people? I'm glad I never found out what he wanted. Construction man, wherever you are, let's not meet. I went to college in Florida, and after graduating all I wanted was to move across the country for a fresh start. I was 23. Everything was set. I quit my job, and a friend agreed to take over my lease. I'd been living alone in a townhouse, so he moved into the second bedroom while I packed up. About a week later at 10 p.m., we're watching TV when there's a knock at the door. My friend answers and comes back with a bag of food from a sandwich place, assuming I'd ordered it. I hadn't. We figured wrong address, but my name and address were right there on the receipt. The phone number, though, was one I didn't know. I called it. Someone picked up but never spoke, just the sound of a room and breathing. The number seemed to be connected to an app. I told myself it was a prank. A few nights later, another delivery. My friend tells the driver it's a mistake, that I don't live here anymore. The driver says he took the order himself over the phone, from a man who just asked for the specials and ordered the first one, same number. The deliveries kept coming every few nights. My move got delayed, and the longer I stayed, the more it scared me. One time I called again, with my friend next to me, and this time we heard a faint voice say, "She definitely still lives there." Then silence. I didn't recognize the voice, but I realized I shouldn't be calling from my own number. I never called again. Eventually, most of the deliveries stopped, but someone harassed us for months. That number would call at all hours, sometimes 30 times in a row. It mostly called me, but my friends sometimes too. And if we picked up, they'd hang up and call right back. I started getting friend requests on every account, with messages like, "Don't you remember meeting at the party last night?" When I hadn't left the house in a week. Worst of all, someone started throwing eggs at the townhouse, which suggested the stalker was local and knew where I lived. The only thing I ever learned was that he knew I hadn't moved. I was terrified until I finally moved and blocked the number. A few co-workers and college friends knew I was moving, but I couldn't think of anyone with a reason to keep track of whether I'd actually left. This was about 8 years ago, and I still have no idea who it was. Even now, I won't answer unknown numbers or unexpected knocks. Even contactless delivery makes me anxious. I'm always half expecting them to show up again. I wasn't going to post this at first because even I find my own story hard to believe. I'm a 25-year-old woman, if that helps. This happened 2 weeks ago. I live in a fairly big house with my dad, who's at the opposite end of it. Our house sits at the end of a driveway shared by 3 homes. Important context. My neighbor across the way is a drug dealer and has been for as long as I can remember. 2 weeks ago, on a Thursday, around 8:30 p.m., I'm in my bedroom, which is close to the front door. Suddenly I see lights in my window and look out to see an old blue and green pickup slowly coming up my driveway, stopping right by my window. I figured it might be a late delivery, though it was strange. An old truck, this late at night. My TV was turned up loud and I was getting dressed to go check when I hear a man's voice inside my house. I couldn't make out what he was saying. I'm in my room with the doors shut, and he's in the next room, the living room. At first I wasn't scared because I thought it was my dad coming to tell me someone was here. I started yelling over the TV, "Dad! Is that you? Dad!" while I hunted for the remote. I turn the TV down and I hear the words "delivery" and "can I come in?" right outside my bedroom door. Now I'm scared because this isn't my dad and probably isn't a delivery person either. The guy actually started turning my bedroom doorknob while I ran for my pepper spray. He never opened it. I had the spray up at a man's eye level as I opened the door, ready to blast him. There was no one there. My front door was now shut. I go get my dad, and we watch from the window as the truck slowly backs into my neighbor's driveway. He sat there a minute with his lights on, then left very slowly. I didn't call the police because everyone told me it was pointless. But now I'm thinking, I have a description of the truck, and what he did was illegal, right? My door must have been left unlocked, but that doesn't mean you can just walk in. I'm thinking of reporting it, just so there's something on paper about what happened. And obviously, there was no package